Okay, hello everyone. Today we are going to go through completing the square, and we're going to start with parts 2 and 3. So the other day, so what's going on in parts 2 and 3? Hello, change. Okay, so what's going on in parts 2 and 3? So part 1 we explored completing the square when a, okay, the coefficient of x squared, the x squared itself is 1. Okay, then part 2 we did this a little bit last week, but we are going to I will repeat this one more time just so that we know what's really going on. So if you know part 2, if you really know what to do and you've done, you just scroll to the part to check the answer, and you can just jump straight to part 3. For those who need a refresher, or some other day you decide you want to revise or something, you can come back to part 2. Okay, when the coefficient of x squared, the a, is equals to -1. So when there's a negative case, what do we do? And part 3, we are going to solve equations with completing the square. So this one is the new one that we were going to cover today. Okay, oh my god, what's my pillow there? Okay, anyway, yes, so let's begin. Okay, so we are back. So for part 2, let us take a look at when our x square is a negative. So what happens? So over here, okay, let me move up. Okay, okay, you see over here, not big enough. Let me readjust. Okay, I think I can move here. Okay, just nice. Okay, all right. Oh, now okay. So here we go. So we have our negative x squared and plus 6x. So what do we do when we complete the square is we need to make a 1. Okay, we need to make the coefficient of x squared to be 1. But we cannot just remove the negative itself, right? So what do we do instead? We need to factorize. So that once we factorize out, okay, whatever is in the bracket over here, we just need to complete the square within the bracket. Okay, within this bracket over here. Okay, so as you can see, okay, as you can see, pointer, is my pointer working? Okay, my pointer is working. All right, so as you can see, so we factorize out the negative, and we have this thing content on the inside. Okay, and because of the, okay, so when you factorize out, make sure you expand back to check through your answers. Okay, so you have your negative x square, and you have your negative 6x, which is actually equivalent to the first step, the first line. So what we are going to do is we need to maintain the equivalence. Okay, right, line 3, we're going to complete the square. I'm going to add something, and I'm going to minus something. So the something is our b over 2 square, the key ingredient. Okay, b over 2 square. So when we add something and we minus something, it is also keeping the equivalence. We are balancing back. When we add something, we will take it away back, something like that. Okay, so we maintain the same thing as above. It is equivalent to the step before. Then we complete the square. Okay, you see the x square and the -3, we combine them, the first three term, we combine the first three term to form the completed square. Okay, we form the completed square. And this one over here, we are going to make it -9. Okay, so we just simplify it to -9. Last but not least, because of the bracket, we need to simplify the bracket. So over here, the negative distribute to this bracket. Because this thing is a square itself, we keep the bracket as it is. We don't expand it, but we put the negative in front of the bracket. When we expand, only then we consider the negative, and we will expand the negative to the -9. So negative 9 will give us +9. So at the last step over here, you have our completed square and our +9. Okay, so this is for negative a. All right, so let me come back over here. Okay, and let me, oh, okay, and let me bring up the questions that will need to do soon. Okay, alright, as you can see over here above, we have our question from practice now for page 7. So we continue on with our question 2. Okay, so let us do this together. Okay, so right, let's write this down. Okay, so we continue practice now 4 in page 7, and we are looking at question 2a. So for a, we have our negative x squared, right, plus 6x, and we need to minus off 2. So when we complete the square, we are only concerned with the first two terms, right? The first two terms, the negative x squared and the plus 6x. So when we factorize, we will need to factorize that first two terms itself. So what do we do here is that I will take out the negative, right? I will take out the negative, and I will have an x squared and my 6x, alright, and my minus 2 on the outside, but my 6x, I will need to change the sign. Okay, so when you expand back, make sure that it is equivalent. So with this, I'm going to insert my two other terms. So over here, I'm going to insert my b over 2 square. So I'm going to add in a b, which is negative 6 over 2, 3. Okay, 6 over 2 is equals to 3. So we add in a b over 2 square, and at the same time minus of a b over 2 square, and minus 2 on the outside. Okay, so here what do we do? The first three terms, alright, the x squared minus 6x plus negative 3 square, bring it up together. Actually, you can notice that another reasoning is because a plus b square, the identity, is equals to a square plus 2ab plus b square. So the 6x, negative 6x will be our 2ab. It will shrink down together into the perfect square. So as we shrink it down, we have our x minus 3 square. So make sure you keep the negative there. Make sure you are sensitive of the sign of the b. Okay, then the other one on the outside, negative 3 square itself is 9, so minus 9. So we have a minus 9 on the outside. Okay, take note of that. You can use your calculator to verify. Make sure you key in the negatives as well, and brackets, and we minus 2. Then we redistribute the negative back into the thing. So we have our negative x minus 3 square, right? Then we have negative this, and we need to negative of this as well. So we have a plus 9 minus 2. So what do we get in the end? This will be equals to x minus 3 square plus 7. Okay, like that. Okay, question 2. So we complete the square like that. Okay, so yeah, if you realize I'm using the slower method, yeah, so for those who can skip this particular step, please go ahead and skip this step. Okay, you can actually from here jump straight down to here if you know what you're doing, if you can follow a shortcut formula. Okay, alright, so with this, let's move on to b. Okay, for b, yeah, I might as well use a new page. Okay, for b, we have our negative x squared plus 9x minus 3.5. Okay, so same thing, I'm going to factorize out my negative. Okay, I'm going to factorize out my negative. So when I factorize out the negative, negative x squared, and I will have a negative minus negative 9x over here. Okay, so we will need, hold on, let me change the bracket. So I will need to insert my b over 2 square, right? So b is negative 9, so b over 2 will be negative 9 over 2, so plus negative 9 over 2 square, or if you want, you can put a 4.5 there, since this is in a nice decimal. Okay, minus of negative 4.5 square. For me, I actually prefer fractions over decimal, but since it's already like this, so might as well, right? Okay, since it's already in decimal, so might as well follow decimal. So here, the first three terms, right? These first three terms, oh dear, okay. These first three terms over here will be completed, will complete the square. So this one will have my x minus 4.5 and square on the outside. I will need to minus off 4.5 square, calculator. We will have our 20.25, so 20.25 minus 3.5. Okay, after this, redistribute the negative. Okay, so you will have your negative x minus 4.5 square, right? And I will have a plus 20.25 minus 3.5. So I can simplify this further by combining the two terms behind. 20.25 minus 3.5, 6, okay, plus 16.75. Okay, nice. Okay, so this is B. Okay, for C, okay, for part C, okay, part C, we have our negative x squared minus 7x plus 5. Same thing, factorize the negative x square. So I have this, and factorize only the first two terms. So the negative 7, I need to change my sign to, when you expand back, it works, right? Then complete the square. So x squared plus 7x. I'm going to add my b over 2, positive 7 over 2 square, minus my b over 2 square, minus away my positive 7 over 2. Okay, and a plus 5 on the outside. Don't forget that plus 5, right? So we have, okay, minus of x plus 7 over 2 square minus 49 over 4 in the outside plus 5. Expand. So time to expand this. Okay, as in like expand the negatives, distribute to that bracket and distribute to this term over here. So I will have a minus x plus 7 over 2 square plus 49 over 4 plus 5. Okay, so here I go. Right, so 49 over 4 plus 5. So this would be 69 over 4. Okay, so this would be my third answer. Okay, last one for D. Okay, a bit more, then we can, close this part. For part D. Okay, for part D, we have our negative x squared. Okay, don't worry about fractions, okay? Fractions are there, to... I think you can handle fractions, don't worry too much. Okay, so here, same steps. We are completing the square for the first two terms. Right? So we factorize the negative out. So take out the negative. I'm going to have my x squared. I'm going to have my 4 over 9x. Okay, and on the outside I have my negative 1. So in order to balance back here, alright, so that when you expand back it's equivalent, right? Then the next one, negative of, I'm going to add my b over 2 square, right? So 4 over 9 is my b, right? 4 over 9 is my b. When I divide by 2, I will try to make it the simplest one. So 4 over 9, just nice the numerator is even, so we can split it out, correct? 4 over 9 divided by 2, 2 over 9. So we have two parts of 2 over 9. So I'm going to add my b over 2 square, b over 2 square, so 2 over 9 square, minus away b over 2 square. So do this, okay, so that your working is not too crowded, okay, or you may not get the simplest form. Alright, so we need to simplify as we go. Okay, next we complete the square. We have our x plus 2 over 9 square. For this one, the b is a positive number, so remember to keep it positive, right? If it's negative, follow negative. Then we need to minus off our b over 2. So 2 over 9 square, 4 over 81, and a minus 1 on the outside. Distribute this there. Okay, you can see distribute this negative sign. So we will have a negative of x plus 2 over 9 square, right? Then I will have a plus 4 over 81 minus 1. So be careful of this. So this one, I think I should like write in this color so that you can see. Okay, whoa. Okay, so last but not least, the last step, x plus 2 over 9 square, right? Then I will have my 4 over 81 minus 1. So here would be a 77 over 81. Okay, so there goes our part D. Alright, so to summarize, in part 2, we were dealing with negative items. So negative, when a is equal to negative 1, when the coefficient of our x squared is negative, we will need to adjust so that our coefficient of the coefficient x squared or the a is 1. Okay, so this ends our video for part 2. Part 3, next we'll just look at the raw equation and we'll use this to solve the equation itself. Right, so stay tuned.